to the next
Yeah.
category. That was the first category of the night. We're gonna move
Oh
on to the next
shit.
category though. Most obsessed game. I could definitely start because mine is absolutely, and it's just gonna be quick, without a doubt, Armored Core 6. That game. Listen, I'll tell you what. Game Awards. What was it? No, they announced it in the Game Awards last year. They showed it during like the Summer Games Fest, or they showed it during some like presentation. They were just like in the Game Awards. They said, "Yeah, this game's coming out in August, by the way." And I was like, "That's next year. That's literally next year." And we were all going nuts. And then it was like, "Oh, maybe they'll delay it or something if they're not ready." No, they announced further. Like they showed like a story trailer in like June or something in the Games Fest, and they were just like, "Yeah, this is live. This is happening." And when it dropped, definitely took me by the balls, because I'll say that the reason why it's my most obsessed game this year is I finished the game, and when I finished the game, I immediately jumped into another playthrough right after. No hesitation. Credits rolled. I said, "Oh, that's cool. I'm going again." And then when that playthrough was over, I said, "I'm going again." And then when that playthrough was over, I said, "I need to go again because there's a perfect ending I haven't gotten yet." And a game hasn't gripped me like that for a very long time. And that's why this is my most obsessed game of the year.
Yeah, I can't debate that, man. It's it's a
game was
really
great.
good game. It's solid, like, you know what I mean. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but you can't complain about the gameplay. Gameplay's fire. Like, if you're into mechs, it's fire. Story's interesting, like, you know, and they do it in a very Dark Soulsy kind of way, and this is their first franchise, or like one of their first franchises. So it's good on them for being able to bring it back for the modern audience, and for all these Dark Souls fans who didn't get to experience the game. Yeah, I enjoyed the game. I played it. You know, obviously I didn't love it as much as Freak did, but it's a great game nonetheless, and I can't say anything bad about it.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess, am I going? Oh, so do you guys want to guess what my most obsessed game is?
Street Fighter 6?
Exactly.
Yeah, my most obsessed game didn't come out this year, so it technically doesn't count. My most obsessed game has been out for fucking 10 years.
You know?
So
yeah, true. I already know what you're gonna say.
So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like, there's no other game that I've obsessed about this year outside of FF14, because it took up 5 months of my fucking year, and like I can't fucking just be like, nah, it's not. Let me ignore it just for the sake of whatever game came out this year. I can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
I completed a fucking Ultimate that came out this year, and it was the best experience and worst. It's definitely the best and worst experience I've had in any game for the past my life. So I'm definitely gonna give it its dues. FF14, absolutely. That's it. I'm not even gonna go in there. I'm not even gonna go into it anymore. That's it.
Well,
So
for me,
Street Fighter, yeah.
well, Street Fighter 6 is the game I watch continually every day. I play it like every other day. It's just, you know, it's just a good fighting game. It's such a love-hate relationship. There are days where, like, I get my ass beat so bad that I'm looking in the mirror, I'm just rethinking life, rethinking my life decisions, and then I'm like, I'm never playing this game ever again. And then 5 minutes later, I'll play the game again. I mean, it's the game I played the most this year. I probably have, like, I don't know, 400 hours, 500 hours, probably, I don't know. I don't even want to look at it. And it's not my game of the year, but it's definitely number 2 or 3, like, for sure. And you know, it's just the fact that, like, you know, I'm a huge Capcom fan. I'm a huge fan of Capcom games, Capcom fighting games specifically. It's just a return to form, and this version of the game, you know, I know people have their grievances with the game now, whatever, but it is one of the better games that came out in terms of a vanilla game and what they offer in comparison to what they've done in the past. So for all those reasons, and for the Battle Hub just being amazing drama, and chef's kiss. Yeah, Street Fighter 6 is my most obsessed game. Is something
Yeah, that's
I
definitely like in my
continually think
top
about.
3. Absolutely. Yeah. But that's just like the nature of fighting games, right? Especially when they're fucking good. Like when a fighting game
Yeah.
comes out and it's good, sheesh. That's why I don't want to. I honestly don't even want to play Tekken. Obviously, I'm going to, but I don't want to
You're
because I
going, you're
already
going
know.
to no one.
Like,
one.
thank God that shit didn't come out this year.
I think that's the one thing that Street Fighter did this year that's like other games absolutely need to take notice of is that they set so many industry standards, which if your game is not doing this, it is not going to be as successful. It's not doomed to fail, but it's not going to be as successful as you would hope it would be. You need to have certain standards in fighting games. And Street Fighter 6 understood that assignment, they established that assignment, and they took care of it immediately. Instant rematch, quick matchmaking, just all kinds of things. The battle hub is such an experience. I mean, it's toxic as fuck, but
I wouldn't
it's
say
still,
they set the standard, but I would definitely say they exceeded.
they optimize some certain
pushing-
things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they definitely succeeded at pushing a lot of these things that we take for granted in games nowadays. They were like, here, take this. Don't forget that we like, because Street Fighter 5, they I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with a lot of the shit they do with Street Fighter 5, but they were like, okay, this is not Street Fighter 5. We remember that we're Capcom. We make like we know
Yeah.
what's for fucking Street Fighter, right? Now we're gonna make sure that our Street Fighter is fucking godlike, and they definitely did. Like the battle hub is godlike. They weren't the first to do it, but they did it the best so far, right? Everything that they've done, I feel like, has been done before, but they finally, after Street Fighter 5, man, I feel like that was like probably the biggest like blow up for them with Street Fighter 6, bro. Like that shit was crazy to me.
For 6, they just got all the pieces together, and it just fucking
that's one of the
works,
best
right?
full package fighting games
Yeah.
ever, probably ever. Like,
I'm glad it got
which
worked
is
into this
wild.
conversation because I couldn't find a way to fit it in mine. I'm just glad because I think this is a very notable game this year, and I think it's a fantastic fighting game. As far as fighting games go,
Yeah.
this is just like what
absolutely.
games should achieve to strive.
I just don't understand. Like, I really do want to. I always say this, but I really want to be in like that room where they were talking about like all the things that they wanted to do for like Street Fighter 5, right? And then all the shit that maybe, because I have a strange feeling that, yo, Street Fighter 5 could have been this game. You know what I mean? But I want to know who was making those
management was
decisions.
different though.
Well,
Yeah, exactly,
it was
exactly.
it was interesting to note that the same crew who made Street Fighter 5 made Street Fighter 6.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
what I'm
not,
saying.
It's not the
like I want to
crew.
know what was going on. Like who, like
Oh no.
clearly
Probably.
these guys
Management,
wanted to make
leadership.
Clearly these guys
Yeah.
wanted to make a good game.
Yeah.
Clearly. So it's just wild how drastically different Street Fighter 6 and 5 are. Like it's not even in the same fucking league.
No,
Street Fighter
not at all.
5. If you took Street Fighter 5 and 6 and held them next to each other, oh my god. Like,
Especially the vanilla versions of the
yeah,
game.
vanilla Street
Yeah.
Fighter 5. Oh my god.
You know what's strange? At this point in time,
That's crazy.
the reason why I'm not playing Street Fighter 6 is due to time. Whereas if you ask me why I'm not playing Street Fighter 5, it's because the game was ass. There's a difference, right? Like it's just like I would
Yeah,
love
I'm
to
just
play
not
more
playing it
Street
'cause
Fighter 6.
It's not
Oh,
my
yeah.
game right now.
Your first love is
yeah.
Tekken. That's
Yeah.
bona fide.
But I love the game. The game is phenomenal, but like, yeah.
You already mentioned your most obsessed game being Final Fantasy 14. Do you want to speak more on it, or are we moving on to the next?
I mean, the only reason why I don't want to speak more on it is because it's a game that didn't come out this year. There's not much to say about it.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
Well,
like an
is there
ongoing
like a number
thing
two?
too,
Is
right?
there
Yeah.
is there a number 2 or number 3 that you just want to throw out there?
Actually, you know what? I think I got you this, bear. Your most obsessed game this year, Revenant 2.
Oh yeah.
it was. It kind of was. Kind of.
Kind of,
But
yeah.
the thing,
First
that's so
half of the
weird.
year,
It's
right?
weird to think about it because I 100% of that game in like a month. So I can't really say it's like
But
my
you
most
were
obsessed game.
super obsessed
But I
with
was
it for that
on
time.
that shit. Yeah, I was on that shit like every single day when it came out. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely one of my top 5 games of the year. That shit was amazing. Like, yeah, but most obsessed.
It's hard to
Nah.
say. It's hard to say. I'm just suggesting, you know.
Like, if you want most obsessed, you want to go by hours. Probably, actually, shit, you're probably right. Now I'm thinking about it. But the only reason why I said FF14 is because that was a special moment of the year for me. Like, I've never really done anything like that before. Literally, like, it felt like I was working, bro. Like, I've done stuff like this in the game before, but I've never done it to the capacity where I did it this time, where I was like, I want this shit done. Like, I want this shit done before the next patch. I want to get this shit out the way. I want to fucking, you know, there are certain levels to things in that game where if you're it, you're it. If you're not, you do things like, you know, there's people doing it now, clearing the fight now, whatever. Y'all not the same. Y'all motherfuckers aren't the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're built different. Niggas is built different. And now I feel like people, like, I always knew I was good at the game, but now I know I'm good at the game. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, that shit is old. That shit, I'm never gonna forget the first like 5 months of this year, ever. As long as this game exists, I don't think I'm ever going to forget that. Like, yeah, I can do it again when the next one comes out, but it's not going to be the same. Like, that experience was probably like I said, that was one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had, period. And while I was doing it, it felt shitty, right? Like, having to be on time for fucking raid every fucking day at like fucking 7 o'clock, right? To raid for like 4 or 5 hours, right? And then I had a group that wanted to raid in the fucking morning at like fucking 5 a.m. So I had to be up for that shit. Like, just to like, it felt like shit while I was doing it.
Yeah.
But then when I finished it, bro, I was literally crying when I finished that shit. Me and my raid group, we were literally in there fucking bawling when we finished that shit. And I don't know, that shit was unforgettable. That's why I said I'm not gonna discredit. Just because the game is old and I've been playing that game, I'm not gonna fucking be like, yeah, that's not it, because it didn't come out this year. Like, it has to be that, just from that experience alone.
Definitely qualifies as an obsession.
Nothing will ever feel like that.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is crazy. But yeah,
we also lived that
it.
because
Yeah.
we were in the Discord with you, and you're just like, all right, hold on, I gotta go do this shit.
Yeah, I was literally, bro, like, I had to be, because, you know, I
This man
don't
was
like being that
struggling.
guy that's late to shit. So I was like, all right, guys, I gotta go. Like, like, it was business. That shit was legit business
Yeah,
for me.
business.
I was like, all right, guys, I'm out of here. Like, everybody's like, yo, man, where you been, bro? I'm like, work. Like, basically. Shit.
People don't understand. Yoshi P been standing on business for the last like what 4 or
Right.
5 years, bro.
Right.
All right.
And people don't understand the amount of work that goes into stuff like that, which is why, like, I get people don't play the game, so they never will understand. But people don't understand the amount of work and effort that goes into that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So when it's finally done and you look back, it's like, yeah, I did that. That shit is it's crazy. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think anything will ever feel like that. Unless the next one comes out and it's literally the hardest shit ever fucking conceived on planet Earth, right? Which it very well might be, but if that's not the case, it won't feel the same.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, like, listen, Game Awards has a category for best ongoing game for a reason. I feel like just certain games that are just, if you're still playing them this year, it doesn't matter whether or not they were released within the year, that we could acknowledge them because the dev support still matters, right? So I think that's super important.